Evening, friends, and welcome to Ninja Mom Says. This week's episode is about goals and deadlines. Now, especially if you're talking about in your work environment, you usually have deadlines all the time in order to ensure that you're getting the right amount of work done in the right time proportions. It's just, it's a way to hold you accountable. It's a way for you to work the most efficiently. And sometimes goals and deadlines can be exceedingly stressful at work, and other times it seems like they're a little bit more realistic. But I think that deadlines are, when used properly, can be really, really helpful in terms of helping us realize our goals, especially outside of the workplace. I think that when we're in the workplace, especially for those of us who don't work from home, you're going to that location. When you're in that physical location, you're in work mode, you've got that productive mindset in, you want to do well so that you keep your job, etc., etc. So I find that a lot of people are really productive when they're at work, and then as soon as they come home, they lose all sense of that productivity because they're in a different mindset when they're home. They're relaxed, everything can sort of get done whenever the heck they want. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you are that sort of person that falls into that slippery slope of, not really getting all the things done that you really want to get done when you're outside of work, this might be helpful for you. So, the first thing that I'd like to say is a goal without a plan is just a wish. I think a lot of people have seen that meme, go throughout the internet about that. But you could also rephrase that to say a goal without a deadline is just a wish. Because deadlines require planning, right? In order to meet a certain deadline, you have to have a course of action about how the heck you're going to get there in X amount of time. For example, I am the current interim music director at Yale Institute of Sacred Music Marquand Chapel, and we have deadlines. We have church services 5 days a week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That deadline is that church service. You had better have the bulletin ready. You got to have the musicians ready. You got to have all that stuff ready for that current service. So I have very, very short deadlines every day. Every day I have to produce for this chapel service. And because I have such quick and rigorous deadlines, and also because that job is only a 30-hour position, I work part-time there, I have to really work quickly and efficiently in order to make sure that all of those demands are met. And I really, really try to make sure that whenever I go from work mode into my home life, my personal life, I try to make sure that I'm getting as much done in my personal life that I want to, that I set my goals for myself, and I get as much done outside of work as I do when I'm at work within reason. And a couple things that help me out with that is that I set myself deadlines for not just my professional life, but also my personal life. And they don't have to be crazy, ridiculous, unobtainable deadlines, but I think they're just nice little things to keep me in check. For example, I was thinking about the weekend on Friday, and I said, oh, okay, so Saturday, okay, what do I got going on Saturday? Saturday, I need to help my husband with his cleaning business. So I've got a business meeting and pertains to that. Saturday, I also need to get XYZ chores done because I know that I'm going to have a busy day on Sunday. Okay, so that's one little deadline that I put out on my plate. Okay, I want to do XYZ chores on Saturday because I know Sunday's going to be a really busy day and I'm not going to have the time to do those chores. So I'm going to make sure that I get these done by Saturday so that come Sunday night, I'm not stressing out because I realized that the weekend passed by like this and I didn't get all of my chores done. All of my laundry, all of my food prep for the week, etc. So that was a good way for me to sort of think ahead and say, okay, what do I really need to get done on the first day of the weekend so that the second day of the weekend can just sort of roll because I'm busy, doing all sorts of things. So that's one little thing that you can use to keep yourself in check by saying, which days of the week are my super busy days in which I know that, things are going to fall through the cracks. I'm not going to be able to get XYZ done. What are the days when I have a little bit of extra time? I'm going to compensate for those crazy busy days by getting more done on those days with extra time. Now, once you have that sort of thing in place for the week, then you can tell yourself, Okay, so we're thinking about the little minuscule things that I want to do week per week. But what is the big picture here? What are my big goals? Is it your goal to get fit, lose weight, put on muscle, whatever your fit goal is? Is it your goal to become more financially stable? Is it your goal, to start a new business? Whatever it, whatever your goal is, if you think on the macro spectrum, okay, well, this is my goal. Great. Most people say, well, eventually I'd love to do X, Y, Z. But you only get so many days in this life, and why would you think about someday instead of actually putting action into fruition to make that happen and achievable sooner rather than later? So if you think about the macro, the big picture goal, and then you take that goal and you set deadlines in order to achieve that goal. So let's say that your goal is, to my daughter's fussing. Let's say that your goal is to pay off a credit card, right? Okay. So instead of just saying like, well, let's see how much money I have at the end of the month, and then whatever extra money I have, I'm just going to put towards the credit card. That might not be the best option, because let's say, this month hits you with a lot of extra bills, or you had to buy a couple of extra things, or your car broke, you had to have a car payment, and then suddenly at the end of the month, oh no, I don't have any extra money to put towards that credit card. You're not making deadlines for yourself in order to get that into fruition. So let's say your goal is to pay off your credit card by the end of the month. Okay, well, at the end of each week, put aside $50 or whatever, to pay off that credit card by the end of the month, so you're not charged any fees. Fine. So what that's doing is that it's breaking the macro goal into little micro sections, and you're setting little deadlines for yourself. This is when I'm going to check in Friday every week. Boom, payday. I'm going to put $50 away. I'm going to put that towards my credit card. That way, regardless, at the end of the month, even if you're getting hit with these extra little things, you know that you've set aside that money towards that credit card bill, because you've made deadlines for yourself to check in along the way. So it's more important to have a plan with a set stream of deadlines in order to keep yourself on track. Checking in with yourself every week about something that you're really passionate about and that you really want to bring into fruition. The deadlines don't have to be as stringent as, I am going to save $200 every week. It doesn't have to be astronomical. A deadline for yourself could just be, I'm going to check in about this issue that is really important to me once every 2 days, or once every week, or once every month. Those sort of deadlines really helps you keep your head in the game so that you can keep your eyes on the prize. It's so often that we get so sidetracked by all these little silly things that happen to us during the day that it gets really difficult to keep your eyes on that goal, that distant future goal, that prize that you really, really need. So, setting those things, those goals for yourself is a really, really good thing. Now, here's the issue. And I find this especially with people who want to get fit, who want to lose weight, etc. People will say, I want to lose, 15 pounds this month. Well, first of all, it's very, very healthy to lose between 1 and 2 pounds per week. Okay, so if there's 4 weeks in any month, 2, 4, 6, 8. So 8 pounds in a month doesn't sound like much, but that's actually, you're doing amazing if you lose 8 pounds in a month. That is a very, very healthy rate of weight loss. So I think that when people think like, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds this month. Yeah, I'm gonna eat right, I'm going to work out, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. Not necessarily. You will lose 20 pounds eventually, maybe, if that is your goal and if that's a realistic expectation for yourself, but not in a month. So first of all, you need to educate yourself about, how realistic your goal is. Now, so once you've educated yourself on, oh, okay, well, if it's realistic to lose, if you're going gung-ho to lose 2 pounds in a week, that means, okay, 8 pounds in a month. So in 6 weeks, I want to have lost 10 pounds. Totally obtainable goal. Now, the opposite side of the spectrum is obsessing about that goal too much. You don't want to become obsessive in your goals so that it robs you of your current, your current joy and success of how far you've come. For example, I know a lot of people they're trying to get fit right now and they just cannot stop looking at the scale. They take it out every morning. They obsess over it. Oh my God, I think I gained 2 pounds. I think I lost 1 pound. I think I gained 3. I think I lost 2. My body fluctuates like 5 pounds every day. And it's just because of water retention and weight and how much I had to eat the night before. It happens, And so, people can become so obsessive with the goal that they keep checking in, and they haven't allowed themselves time to progress before the next check-in. So, especially if this specific example scenario pertains to you, only look at the scale once every 3 weeks or so. That's going to be a much better indicator of your overall progress, but based on the day-to-day, anxiety over how much you weigh. You are so much better than a stupid number on a scale. I'm not losing weight right now. My goal is not to lose weight. My goal is to get more fit and toned. And the scale isn't changing because I'm just replacing fat with muscle. That's how it's working for me right now. And fitness looks different to everybody. So if this is your specific situation, please don't get hung up on the scale because you're doing the right things, and only check it once every 3 weeks. So it's also important to understand pacing and timing. So if your goal is a sort of monthly goal, let's say it's a financial goal, checking in weekly to make sure you're on track for that monthly goal might be a really good idea instead of checking in once per month. And so it really depends on what your goal is, what your situation is, how often that you should sort of plan on that deadline, that check-in. But you don't want to be so lax with yourself that you can allow yourself to slip through the cracks. For example, if your goal, let's say, is to lose weight, for example. I'm just using fitness examples just because, but this could pertain to anything in your life. If your goal is, let's say, I want to lose 3 pounds this month. It's pretty easy to lose 3 pounds in a month, really. As long as you're not completely eating fast food every day, it's pretty easy to lose 3 pounds in a month, unless you're at the tail end of your fitness spectrum and you want those last 3 pounds are really, really tough. But let's say you're at the beginning of your fitness journey. I want to lose 3 pounds this month. That might be too lax of a goal for yourself. So you have to find that fine line between pushing yourself without obsessing about it too much. So give yourself a little bit of slack. Another interesting way to think about it is, if you're thinking about your personal goals, your life goals, your non-work goals, for example, where you are relying upon yourself in order to measure your progress, it's easy to beat ourselves up. It's really, really easy to beat ourselves up. Inversely, if you're at your job and if you do your job well, your boss, if they're a good boss, will give you recognition, will give you praise, will celebrate your success, and will encourage you to continue to improve. You should view yourself in the same way, because you are your own boss, right? Of your personal life and everything else in your life. So if you succeed in something, celebrate yourself. Celebrate those successes. Recognize yourself and how far you've come along the way, and it will make the process so much better. Don't just have your eye on the end game and forget to celebrate the present. I hope that this little spiel on deadlines was helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If there are any topics you want me to talk about, let me know. Thank you, friends. Have a great week.